Please can you remind me, if you'll be so kind, staring out into space, asking God to hear my case, trying to think of all things past. How long will my memory last? With purple angel, purple angel, purple angel, you're next to me.
Well, hi, everyone. This is Lori LeBay, the host and founder of Alzheimer's Speaks Radio. Welcome to the show today. We're going to have a really interesting topic for you. But before we get into to our main topic today, I want to just tell you a little bit about Alzheimer's Speaks, because we're always getting new listeners. And so just bear with me a moment here. For those of you that are new, Alzheimer's Speaks is an advocacy-based company providing multiple platforms to shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort all around the world. And so even though you're listening to us today via the radio, we also do what we call dementia chats, which are video interviews where our panelists actually are the experts, and they are diagnosed and living with dementia. They're absolutely fascinating discussions. We also have a blog. We do a lot of speaking and training. We have a resource directory. So there's lots of information that you can find on our site, from the Purple Angel to memory cafes to creating dementia-friendly communities. So just know that we try to bring various platforms to you so that you can grab what is easy for you to kind of digest and process and share. We also truly believe that it's very important for us to just have an authentic conversation about the disease. And that's one of the things that I personally love about Alzheimer's Speaks Radio. We're not condensed into sound bites. You know, this is a hour talk radio where we really have a conversation everybody can understand about life with dementia. And I know that we are changing perceptions out there. And I know that we're winning this battle by working collaboratively, by sharing people's stories and connecting people to resources, tools, and products, and just inspiring them to be able to live as well as possible with this disease if they're diagnosed or if they're caring for somebody. And each of you has had a really big impact on us as Alzheimer's Speaks as well. You see, when you like what we do, if it's the radio show, the dementia chats, the website Alzheimer's Speaks itself, or one of our Facebook pages, you are pushing information out to your Twitter tribe, your Facebook friends, your LinkedIn colleagues, your Pinterest peeps. It doesn't make any difference. But in doing that, you are getting people more comfortable hearing about dementia, which then helps them reach out and grab the information when they need it. So I want to thank you very much. In addition to doing that, you also got us named the #1 influencer online according to ShareCare and Dr. Oz. And again, we did that as a team together. Again, just sharing information. And that is just so important. Today's show, we are really going to be talking about kind of, I call it second chances and raising awareness. We have PK Beville with us, and she's been on the show prior, and I'm just so honored to have her back again. She is the founder of Second Wind Dreams, which is an international nonprofit whose mission is to make dreams come true for elders and provide initiatives regarding dementia education. And one of her platforms, which is extremely well known and it's patented, is called the Virtual Dementia Tour. And it is a simulation of dementia, and it's used worldwide for dementia sensitivity and increasing person-centered care. So welcome, PK. So wonderful to have you back with us.
Oh, thank you for having me, Lori. I'm a real big fan of yours as well.
Well, I've actually gone through the tour like 3 different times, and we'll get into talking about my experience, I'm sure, as well as others. But before we kind of get into our line of question, I also want to introduce our co-host today. I have with us Harry Urban, and Pauline Gordon. Both are living with dementia. And I'm such an advocate of hearing their voice and having them be part of the conversation. So, Harry, do you want to just give people a little bit of background about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Lori. My name's Harry Urban. I live in Pennsylvania, and 12 years ago, I was diagnosed with dementia of the Alzheimer's type. Since then, I've learned a lot about living with dementia, and I became a strong advocate for care before a cure.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Pauline, do you want to tell people a little bit about yourself as well?
Yes. I was diagnosed, I guess it's now pushing into 5 years ago at age 57 with vascular dementia. And I also have learned a lot just being in these different support groups and in different advocacy opportunities I've been able to take advantage of.
Well, and you've written a book as well.
And I've written a booklet on vascular dementia that's available on Amazon. And I was also featured in a documentary that was done by the Public Broadcasting System in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, which was wonderful. It was really a nice episode. So I appreciate you two joining the conversation here because I think it's just so, like I said, it's so important for us to hear your thoughts. My first question is going to go to PK and talking about the Virtual Dementia Tour and why did you create that? What just pushed you and even gave you the idea to come up with the Virtual Dementia Tour?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Pauline and Harry for being on the call today. It means a great deal to all of us to try to listen to what you have to say and to support those efforts. And one of the things that I was listening to over my many years of working in geriatrics was the fact that no one seemed to understand what the person with dementia was dealing with. And no matter how hard we tried to work with families and staff members to be more patient, more attentive, to listen better, to be more attentive, it just seemed as though it was hard for a person without dementia to understand why the questions are asked over and over again, why it's easy to get lost in a place, all of the whys of the questioning of a curious people. So I began to research how I could help simulate what people living with dementia are dealing with, and I did that through behavioral observations, through watching how the brain goes through the process and how the different parts of the brain are affected by the disease itself. And in doing so, I learned that the normal brain can be tricked into thinking it has dementia by coming up with ways to focus on a specific area of the brain at a time. Now, the reason that I selected going for mid-stage dementia is because I felt as though that is the stage where people living with dementia are the most misunderstood. That's when a lot of placements happen, when a lot of decisions are made for and about the person living with dementia based on some of the behaviors and challenges that are occurring in mid-stage. So early stage people living with dementia were also a part of the development of the Virtual Dementia Tour by telling me, no, that's not right. No, that sounds not right. No, the way that I feel right there when I'm walking is not right. So they were an integral part in the development of the Virtual Dementia Tour.
Wonderful. I just think it's so powerful. I've gone through it, like I said, 3 times myself. So, PK, can you tell our audience, if they went through a Virtual Dementia Tour, what would they expect?
I'm happy to. So what happens is the participant that's curious about what it might be like to have dementia so that they can serve their loved ones or counterparts better, I've taken the specific parts of the brain, and the first thing we do is we simulate pain, because so often people in the middle stage of dementia can't tell us they're in pain. They actually show us. So they are agitated pacing, they are gritting their teeth, they can have some verbal outbursts that are difficult, and that's because they're in pain. So we wanted our participants to feel what that might be like. The second thing that we do is we simulate loss of tactile functioning. In other words, the part of the brain, the parietal lobe, that handles how to button and unbutton, how to zip and unzip, becomes damaged as people go through the process of dementia, so that it's difficult for them to manipulate objects. So we want the participants to see what that feels like. And next, we simulate the occipital lobe damage, and people living with dementia lose peripheral vision. In other words, they don't see to the left or the right unless they actually turn their heads that way. They only see straight ahead, and it's what I call the Alzheimer's window, where they see about 6 feet in front of them. Their head is down past a good bit, and that plus about 5 feet high is what their window really is. So approaching them from different directions is usually not a very good idea. So we simulate that, and then we simulate the sounds that people living with dementia have complained that they hear. These rolling sounds, these kind of crackling sounds that are going on in their heads, the inability to focus on one word, and then they focus on that word, but then they can't remember what else was said, so it's a, kind of an in and out sort of a thing. So we simulate that with the headphones that cover the ears. Then we send them into a room that is set up to mimic what people in mid-stage dementia are living in, usually a bedroom with an attached bathroom or, a home area. And they're given tasks to do, and then they're taken to the room and they're to complete the tasks. After their time is up, they're taken out. They're given a little post-assessment to see how they felt about it. And then once that's over, then we give them a debrief about what happened during the tour and how that can teach them how to better care for someone living with dementia.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this? I'll ask that question first.
Sure. I began researching the Virtual Dementia Tour for my dissertation in 2000, and I published the first documents with regards to it in 2001 and 2002. Since then, I've made lots of changes to the VDT over all these years, and currently it is in 18 countries, hospitals, universities, medical schools, nursing homes, assisted living throughout the world.
Wow, that's amazing. I know I've gone through the tour, like I said, 3 times, and the first time, I didn't know what to expect at all. And I was shocked how I couldn't function. And the second time I went through, I knew what to expect, and I still couldn't function. And the third time, I was really disoriented to the point that I left my purse. I left the room, and I went back to my hotel room, and it was like an hour and a half later, I realized I left my purse there. I was that disoriented, which really surprised me when I knew full well what to expect, that I could be set off kilter so much. And I know that, Pauline and Harry probably have some comments in terms of, how do you simulate this? Because it's not truly living with it. You're just giving people some ideas of what it can be like when the brain doesn't connect at times, so it's not day in and day out. So, Harry, I just want to ask you, have you ever tried the Virtual Dementia Tour yourself? And what are your thoughts now that PK has kind of explained the process that somebody goes through with this simulation?
Well, personally, I never I've never taken a tour because I live it. But I got to know a lot of the details of what's being offered, and although they're very good, but they only point towards the physical aspects of what we go through. I would like to see them expand. In my opinion, I think a virtual tour is a visit into my world, what it's like. And what it is, it takes you to tour the grounds and stuff and shows you around the physical obstacles we go through. But I would love to see the tours expanded, that they show the emotional side of this disease. What some of the emotions we go through. There's so many that our care partners don't understand. And like what big emotion that every one of us living with dementia goes through is that feeling we want to give up. Okay, we're standing at the edge of the cliff with our toes hanging over the edge, and we just want it to be over. We know that if we take a step, it will be. Those are the deep emotional things. Those are the emotions down in the basement that I would love to see a tour design that could maybe show that.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, Harry. This is PK again. In fact, during the virtual dementia tour that we do, we overlay that with the questions that are asked. And the participants get extremely frustrated, they get agitated, they sit, they cry, they walk out, and they beg for it to be over. So, and one of the responses that we frequently get, Harry, is when a participant says afterwards, the only thing that got me through this was knowing that it would be over in 10 minutes. How do these people do it 24/7? So I think we are hitting a lot of the emotions. Of course, we can't hit it as graphically as you living with dementia have to endure all day, every day. But I can tell you that we don't do the VDT, Virtual Dementia Tour, just once. We have staff and family members go through it at least once every 6 months because, as Lori said earlier, she was so emotionally rattled she left her purse even after the second time she went through the tour. So the emotions are very strong during the tour. We just got through sending 1,450 people in Georgia through the tour. And let me tell you, the emotional responses afterwards, basically they're saying hats off to these people living with this disease. We need to be more patient. We need to take our time. We need to quit hurrying. We need to give them time. We need to support them. So that's hopefully going to help you understand that we are trying our very best to get to the emotional dynamics of what you deal with every day, but we will never, ever be able to completely walk in that world.
Yeah, I would have to second that because it, even though you're going through all these physical overlays, just the moment, I can, specifically count the moments I was just terrified, from loud noises, if it was a siren or a phone ringing that just made me literally jump out of my skin because I was concentrating so hard. And that's one of the things that I hear you guys talk about all the time is the energy that you have to put in to kind of look normal, and the adaptation that you guys do. And I really think the stimulation or the simulation really gets people to understand how difficult this disease is to function and do even very simple tasks when your head's not able to connect all the dots, and the anger, the frustration, the sadness, the deep grief that you feel for your loved one or a client that you're working with because they have to deal with this constantly. And even though it's not, probably perfect. I think the understanding is quite great and is deeply shifted, through the process itself. Pauline, how about you? Have you ever tried the Virtual Dementia Tour yourself, or what are your thoughts?
No, I have not tried it. I saw some information about it in the documentary that I was involved in. They had the virtual tour was part of that documentary. And so I've seen it, and I pulled up the website, and I've looked a little bit at the different, the articles and so forth about it. I think it's a wonderful idea that you're trying to help people, family members, to understand what people with their loved ones go through. And I second what Harry said, that there are so many emotional things that you just can't. I just don't see how it's possible to simulate them. And I just that's one thing I wondered about. One thing I was going to ask you is where do you get your customers? Are they nursing facilities?
Yes, and
or
hospitals and families, hospitals, medical schools, home health, hospice. We have a lot of participants from all of those areas. Also, the cities that are becoming more dementia-friendly are using the Virtual Dementia Tour in the restaurants and the post offices and banks to try to help the people serving the public understand a little bit better what's happening.
You did mention that you had some people with dementia to go through the tour, which I think is a wonderful idea that you included them. And I'm very curious about what their feedback was after going through the tour.
Well, actually, we have people going through the tour frequently with living with dementia, and my most favorite response was a gentleman went through and said afterwards, this wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I think I'm going to be able to handle this. So that was very helpful. Yeah, others have just said, yep, that's exactly what it feels like, and it's just, stronger than what I'm experiencing now. What I meant by the people living with dementia, they helped me develop the tour. They were integrally involved in the development. So, and for that, I will always be grateful for their work.
Do you make adjustments for different people, like different people, different diseases or different stages? Do you have adjustments on there for that? And for
actually, we do have one. Right, we have one for Lewy body that we do.
Okay.
I don't have one for vascular yet because, you have patchy abilities. Some things you do super, super well, and other things you find yourself struggling a little bit. So I don't have one for that. Lewy body I do, and early stage we just crank down the sound a little bit and we brighten the room a little bit. And it's the same type of thing. Late stage, of course, at that stage, it's pretty much non-ambulatory and things of that nature.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that you have different ones because I wondered about that, how different people with different types of dementia, how it would be the same. But I'm happy to hear that you have developed different ones for different illnesses and symptoms.
And you know what, Pauline, to follow up on what you're saying right there, the fascinating part to me is that even though we set up the simulation pretty much the same everywhere we go and with the same components and everything, fascinatingly enough, each and every individual going through the tour responds in a completely different way. So that some people go in and try to hurry through tasks. Other people go in and they get agitated and angry. Other people just sit in a chair. So that's always been interesting to me, the different emotional responses from people experiencing the tour, much like you guys, people living with the disease.
One thing that concerns me about this, though, is when people take this tour, do they walk around or walk away from it with the oh my God, I pity them so much.
No, we don't let that happen. No,
we don't let
that happen.
There's one thing you have to realize, that even though they saw a glimpse of what we go through, we have found ways to adapt to it. And
Sure.
I think during the tour, I think that also has to be explained, that we do adapt to it. You know, the horrors you see is bad for you, and they might have been bad for us 5 years ago, but today it's just a way of life. We adapted to them.
That's exactly amazing, and I thank you so much for mentioning that, because I failed to mention that we do a thing at the end of the tour called the debrief, and it's during that time that we lift you guys up, and we talk about the champions that you are, and we talk about how you are the survivors, that you are teaching us how to care for you if we would just take the time to really listen. So yeah, I don't want people to leave with shock and awe either. I want them to leave with an integrated sense of what you're going through, and then figure out ways to make the world better for you.
Well, and I think one of the things, too, with all the dementia-friendly awareness that's going on right now, there's so much more to tap into the communities, and that's a pretty big, huge step, because I think, you know, initially when people would go through, I mean, I remember for myself going through the first time thinking, oh my gosh, all the stuff I'm doing wrong. How did I not know? So I felt a tremendous amount of guilt as a daughter, thinking I should do things better, and much more prepared to know how to do things better just by that physical experience. You know, and I think most care partners, you know, we just carry guilt. We're really good about carrying guilt and not doing things as well as we'd like. But it's really the conversations that I've had with people in all 3 times I went through was incredible. I had no idea. I've got to be much more sensitive. There are things that we can do to just make life so much easier. If it's from noise levels and lighting to steps in terms of instructions there's just so many things I think people walk away with going, I can do this different. I need to do this different. And once they not only see, because they can see somebody struggling with dementia, but when you don't know how to fix it, when you can't really feel it, I think that the simulation makes us really feel the need to change in our heart, and then we get more creative and we're much more open to changing our routines and the way things were. And to try to bring some peace and calm. I don't know if does that make sense, Harry and Pauline?
It does. It does. Now, I do have a question though. Is there a charge for taking this tour?
It depends on where you are. Like, for instance, if it's at a university, the students pay a lab fee. If it's for the general public, it's usually absorbed by the entity that's putting it on. We have mobile virtual dementia tours as well, and there's no charge to go through those. it's supported by sponsors that we have. So it really does depend. The trainers have to... Why you ask?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I was pretty well.
Yes. Why I asked is because I'm associated with Lancaster General Health, and I give mentoring speeches to newly diagnosed patients through the hospital, and we get like 50 people at each one.
Wow!
And a thought was going through my mind that could something like this be promoted through the hospital as part of the program.
Sure, and it would be especially valuable for those care partners who are living with the disease as well. But yeah, we do have a lot of hospital programs. We sure do. Mm-hmm.
How does somebody contact you, or how do they get an opportunity to take one of these tours?
Well, for those who are internet active, they can go to our website at secondwind, spell out secondwind.org, O-R-G, since we're a nonprofit. And there are lists of places where the Virtual Dementia Tour is being conducted for free on our website. Also, you can fill out the more information form and mention what exactly you're looking for, and someone will get right back with you within 24 hours, unless it's a weekend, and let you know what the next steps would be.
Could you repeat that internet address again? Second Wind,
Sure.
I've got that.
.org, O-R-G.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you
sure.
targeting mid-stage? Is that what you?
Yes. The Virtual Dementia Tour is for mid-stage. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now is that the place I would go to get information about?
Sure. Yes.
Getting that kind of information for the hospital.
Yes,
Super.
that's exactly where you would go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you.
And PK, you do kind of train the trainer as well as
right. We do trainings to teach people how to conduct the tour throughout the United States. So, like in the case of a hospital, if the hospital decided they wanted to be one of our providers, then they would be trained by one of our experts to conduct the tour in the hospital and for the general public. So it's a pretty intense training and homework and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we feel like it's necessary that our providers know exactly how to do this and what to look for, how to score it, and how to give feedback.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. I just think it's such a powerful tool, and really helps in terms of changing perceptions, because I know so many times people will look at, Harry or Pauline or someone else who has dementia and say, well, they look fine.
Yes.
You look fine, and they don't understand all the stuff.
Are you sure? Here's my favorite one. Are you sure you have it? What?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
No, it's just such a fun thing. I thought I would pretend to have it.
Just pick it. Yeah, right. I just picked it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre, but they do get that so often, and it really, really needs to change. That whole process really needs to change, and people need to understand the importance of this disease and taking it seriously, and how difficult and how much work and energy it takes to look normal. To fit in, and their passion, I think kind of boosts their energy and their ability to connect too with this. But we need to look deeper, and we need to understand at a much more powerful level if we're going to truly make changes. One of the other things
I couldn't agree more.
One of the other things that I wanted to talk with you about is Second Wind Dreams. How does that fit into the Virtual Dementia Tour? And I've heard just some great things that you are doing besides just the Virtual Dementia Tour. So,
sure. Well, I founded Second Wind Dreams in '97. We'll be 20 years old in January. That's just so hard to believe. And it's designed to make dreams come true for people who still want to do things and go places and see things, who are living in long-term care. So that can be anywhere from hospice to home health to nursing homes, assisted living, group homes, all of those places. And we average 6 to 7 dreams per day. throughout the United States, and they're everything from the simple to the sublime. So we have dreams like they just want to go ride on a boat again. And it's been, let's see, we just had one 70-some years since she'd been on a boat, and she dreamed of being able to do that again. We have people who dream of, she was a beauty queen once, and she wanted to relive that memory again. And we put on a huge pageant with high school students, and just had a great opportunity to watch her the way she used to be. We also have a part of the Dreams program that we call our Sleeping Dreamers. Those are for our elders or people living with dementia. And it's to remind themselves and also the people who care for them that the person is inside. And what we usually do is replicate something from that dreamer's past that they loved, that they talk about, that they frequently say. And we watch those people living with dementia basically wake up and be a part of the moment. And the family gets to see them excited and a part of something positive. And so that was the cornerstone of what I founded, with the understanding that this is a grassroots program. Everybody in the pool, nobody's left out, and the outside community helps make those dreams come true, and that allows them to get to know the people either living with dementia or in long-term care better, because they're actually the ones that got us here. So then in 2000 is when I decided I needed to finish or start my dissertation, and so I decided that my dissertation would be trying to figure out how we can better serve those living with dementia, and then that led me to the creation of the Virtual Dementia Tour. Honestly, it never occurred to me that the VDT would grow like it has. I really was just doing my dissertation. And it turned out that after the studies were completed, the pilot study sites started calling me and asking me if I would come out and do it again. That's when it occurred to me that I might be able to make some greater changes with the Virtual Dementia Tour. And so it turns out that I ended up donating the Virtual Dementia Tour to my nonprofit. And the proceeds from the trainings and from the programs go to continue to make dreams come true for our elders.
Oh, that's very, very neat. I've heard of a few programs doing that, and especially over in the UK in terms of making the dreams come true. And I just think that that's so beneficial, and
it is.
Just really, that's got to be a lot of fun to be able to.
It is, and it's so positive. There's nothing negative about it, and we all need positive things in our lives, and what better group of people to serve in a positive way than our elders and those living with dementia.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, Harry, why don't you tell us what your thoughts are about Second Winds, making these dreams come true?
I think it's a wonderful program. It reminds me of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, creating people with cancer and diseases, their wishes. From what I heard, though, you're only touching the tip of the iceberg. I think this program has so much potential that if you got the word out, that you would get the support you need. You would get the people that want to help. As an example, I talk to many people living with dementia, and they have wishes, they have dreams.
Sure.
But they're not huge. They're not huge.
No.
We don't dream about going to Disney World or anything like that. We dream about having someone take us out to the corner ice cream store and have it an ice cream cone, things like that. I would love, and I would work towards getting a program set up in this area that does just that.
Great. We would love to have you. Please be sure to go to our website and our Facebook page. you'll see a lot of the dreams that are coming true all the time. Like I said, each day, 6 to 7 dreams come true. And you're right, Harry. It's not rocket science, and it's not difficult. The funding is not huge, but the fact of the matter is that getting people to surround the dreams, once they know about it, they're all in. We've had no trouble garnering that kind of a support. The problem that we have at Second Wind Dreams is that everybody's all about the children and focusing on making sure the children's wishes are taken care of. And I applaud that. I think it's great. But let's face facts. Our children aren't our future. Our elders are our future. Our children aren't. They're going to have their own future. We're going to be long gone. So to me, we should be focusing any effort to bettering our society through making the dreams come true for those who got us here. I think our tautological and flawed reasoning in this be young, act young, look young, dress young society is going to be the, nemesis that will be hard to overcome. So I'm with you, Harry. And when you go to our website to ask about the Virtual Dementia Tour, take a look around and see some of the amazing dreams that have happened, and then contact us, and we'll get you in touch with the people to help you get something started where you are. We would love nothing better than that.
I would love to do that, because I visit a lot of nursing facilities, and I think that is the best place. Now, the 6 to 7 a day, I know we can do so much better than that.
Oh yes,
so
definitely. Yeah. You're so right.
Wonderful. Pauline, any comments from you on kind of the whole Second Wind Dreams? Kind of make a wish.
Well, I did have an opportunity before the call to look at the website, and I did take a look at that, and I think it's a wonderful program. I think that right now the Purple Angel Ambassador programs are working on making wishes come true for people with dementia, and I think that this program just goes right along with it, and I think it's a wonderful idea. I do wonder where the funding comes from.
Well, we have we allow donations on our website, and we also have dreams featured on our website that people can donate to. But the major funding comes from the Virtual Dementia Tour.
Well,
that's wonderful.
And I liked on the website where you did have, dreams. So if somebody wanted to just, capture one dream, I mean, you could do that, or you could send money to, and it'd be applied to kind of the big pot in and of itself.
That's how we roll.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, wonderful. Well, I think this has been just a really exciting conversation. PK, I have to ask you, though, do you have some new things on the horizon with your new nonprofit?
Yeah, we've got, we now have 7 mobile Virtual Dementia Tour units traveling around the country, and also England and Scotland and Ireland. And we are launching into the development, along with Georgia Tech Research Institute, a virtual reality, augmented reality of the Virtual Dementia Tour that can be used more economically and more easily by downloading an app on your iPhone, putting it in the augmented reality glasses, and experience the Virtual Dementia Tour that way. So we're heavily involved with Georgia Tech Research Institute to bring that to reality as well.
Well, that is just amazing. That's
isn't it? Yeah.
I just think from when we first talked the very first time, and I think we shared the stage actually at, I can't remember what conference it was, if it was Montana or Wisconsin or whatever, was when I first had the privilege to speak with you. I mean, your company has grown so much. You've got to be so proud of what you've done. And
well, I haven't. It's all God. We just show up and we carry out his mission, and we try not to get tired and overwhelmed and leave it in his hands, and that's where it belongs. So we're very mission driven, and my colleagues here, don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They just keep moving, and we're very blessed, very, very blessed.
well, we are blessed to have you with us, and you sharing your mission with us and your passion. You've touched so many lives. I mean, you can't even count them all. It's just absolutely incredible and very exciting what you have coming down the pike as well.
And right back at you, my dear. You have too. You are an amazing woman. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think everybody on this show is doing some incredible things, and the fun part is we get to do it together. And
that's right.
And I think that's where the power of it is as well. It's that collaboration and just like you said, doing what's best for people. And
that's right.
So what an honor to have you all on the show today. I thank you all so much. Again, we've been talking with PK Beville with the Second Wind organization, and Second Wind Dreams organization, who also does the Virtual Dementia Tour. And then we've also had with us Harry Urban and Pauline Gordon, both who are living with dementia, and their insights and comments are always so helpful for all of us to really understand what this disease is about. So I want to thank everybody again for joining us and appreciating you spending the time with us today.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you so much. I also
Thank you so much, too.
Great. I also want to just mention that if you're new to the Alive and Social Network, you might want to check out the episode What's for Dinner Tonight with Rachel Perrin, who is a culinary director for Kowalski's Market, along with her producer and sidekick, Adam Lee. They are always joined by foodtastic friends and colleagues that chat about seasonal flavors and favorite foods and trendy topics regarding nutrition. And their episodes are only like 10 or 15 minutes long, but they're perfect for the busy yet hungry listener and can help you figure out what's for dinner. You can always go to Kowalskis.com. That's KOWALSKIS.com and get a full seasonal menu and suggestions for your holidays coming up as well. I also wanted just to point out a couple of past shows. If you haven't had a chance to listen, all of our shows are archived. We had Ben Utek on, who was a Super Bowl champion, and he talked about his new book and just his powerful story. And there's also a video that he did. He's a singer and songwriter as well, but he talks about his mind slipping away and the effects that sports injuries and concussions have had on him. And, he's a young guy with a young family, a very powerful and inspirational man who is now speaking around the nation. We also had Loretta Venny with us talking about her book, Being Mom's Mom, and Deborah Schaus talking about living in the land of dementia. Again, we've been doing this show for many, many years, so you can listen forever if you'd like. I also want to point out on our Dementia Chats webinar, the last one we just did was all about getting diagnosed and the roles of the doctors and clinics, what's working, what's not working. And there's a lot that's not working, and you'll hear that actual stories from people, again, living with dementia. Our next one we're going to be posting as soon as I get done editing it will be the impact of pets when living with dementia. And let's see, if you're going to be in Memphis, I'm going to be doing a screening of His Neighbor Phil down there on the 10th. You can get information off my website on the homepage. Or November 16th, I'll be at St. Therese Senior Living in Woodbury, Minnesota as well. So check both of those out. Again, I want to thank everybody and wish you just a brilliant week. Thanks so much. Bye now.
Hi, I'm Lori LeBay, and I wanted to tell you about Alzheimer's Speaks, which is another great podcast. You see, my own mother lived with dementia for 30 years, and I felt lost. Did you know every 3 seconds someone in the world is being diagnosed with dementia? odds are it's going to hit your families too. We want to help you connect to services, products, tools, research, and stories so you can be prepared. Please subscribe to Alzheimer's Speaks on your favorite podcast platform.